So last time we discussed about the microtubules, and today we are going to discuss about centrosomes. These centrosomes they were first discovered by centrosomes were discovered by von Beneden in 1883, and they were their structure was studied by T. Bowery in 1888. So centrosomes were discovered by von Beneden in 1883 and their structure was given by Thomas Bowery in 1888. These centrosomes they are present only in animal cells. They are not found in plant cells. They are absent in plant cells. Sorry. They are present in plant cells. They are present in animal cells. And in animal cells, they have also centrioles in them. Centrioles are absent in plant cells. Centrioles are absent in plant cells. So in animal cells, we have centrosomes. These centrosomes, they are present usually at the two poles of the cell during the process of cell division. Actually, there is a single centrosome in an animal cell, but at the time of cell division, it divides and it migrates to two opposite poles of the cell, like this. Suppose this is an animal cell. Usually, it has got only one centrosome. It has usually got only one centrosome. But at the time of cell division, this centrosome divides and it migrates to two opposite poles of the cell, one here and one here. It migrates to two opposite poles of the cell where from it forms the spindle fibers. It organizes the spindle, right? So in a non-dividing cell, you will find only one centrosome. However, in a dividing cell, you will find two centrosomes, one at this pole and another at this pole during cell division, right? These centrosomes, they are basically formed of two components. Centrosomes are formed of two components. They are formed of a pair of centrioles Centrosomes are formed of a pair of centrioles plus pericentriolar mass plus pericentriolar mass. So this is a pair of centrioles. This is one centriole, this is another centriole. These two centrioles, they are at right angles to each other. These two centrioles, they are surrounded by an amorphous mass. This amorphous mass which surrounds these centrioles, this is known as pericentriolar mass. This is pericentriolar mass. These two things, which are at right angles to each other, they are the centrioles. These are the centrioles. So pericentriolar mass plus centrioles, they form together a centrosome. They together form a centrosome. How many centrosomes are present in a non-dividing cell? In a non-dividing cell, usually there is a single centrosome. But at the time of cell division, this centrosome replicates and it migrates to two opposite poles of the cell to form ester, where from the organization of spindle fibers occurs, right? So first we will have a look at their centrioles, the structures which are present inside this centrosome. At the center, they are the centrioles. First we will have a look at the structure of these centrioles. So we will see of what material these centrioles are formed. Centrioles, they are formed of microtubules. Centrioles are mainly formed of microtubules. And they have got a microtubular arrangement of 9 plus 0. They have got a microtubular arrangement of 9 plus 0. That means there are 9 peripheral microtubules. Peripheral microtubules. There are 9 peripheral microtubules. And 0 indicates no microtubule. No microtubule at the center. So centrioles, they are characterized by 9 plus 0 microtubular arrangement. So that means there are 9 peripheral microtubules, and at the center there is no microtubule. That is why we write 0, right? So these microtubules, they are arranged towards the periphery in the form of a circle. This is one microtubule. This is another microtubule. There are peripheral 9 microtubules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there are 9 peripheral microtubules. Each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. It is formed of 3 subtubules. Subtubule 1, subtubule 2. So this is subtubule A, subtubule B, and subtubule C. Each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. It is formed of 3 subtubules. Subtubule A, B, and C. Similarly here, 1, 2, and 3. 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 So each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. So there are only 9 peripheral microtubules. Each peripheral microtubule, each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. Is a triplet. That is, it is formed of 3 subtubules. It is formed of 3 subtubules. Subtubule A, subtubule B, and subtubule C. So these are 9 peripheral microtubules. Each of them is a triplet. Each of them is formed of 3 subtubules. Subtubule A, B, C. Similarly here, subtubule A, subtubule B, subtubule C. This is B and this is C. Similarly here, A, B, and C. Right? Subtubule A is formed of 13 protofilaments. Subtubule A is formed of 13 protofilaments. Subtubule B is formed of 10 protofilaments. And subtubule C is also formed of 10 protofilaments. So subtubule A, it is formed of 13 protofilaments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. This is subtubule A. In subtubule B, there are 10 protofilaments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In subtubule C, there are 10 protofilaments. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So in subtubule A, there are 13 protofilaments. This is A, it has got 13 protofilaments. In subtubule B, there are 10 protofilaments. In subtubule C, there are also 10 protofilaments, right? So these three subtubules, they together form a peripheral microtubule. They form a peripheral microtubule. So each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. It is formed of three subtubules, A, B, and C. Out of these three subtubules, subtubule A is formed of 13 protofilaments, as you have studied in microtubules yesterday, right? Subtubule B is formed of 10 protofilaments. Subtubule C is also formed of 10 protofilaments. So they form the 9 peripheral microtubules. Then subtubule A is joined with subtubule C, adjacent subtubule C. Subtubule A is joined with adjacent subtubule C. A is joined with C. A is joined with C. Again, A is joined with C. Subtubule A is joined with subtubule C. Subtubule A is joined with subtubule C. Right? So this link which joins subtubule A with subtubule C, this is known as AC linker. This is known as AC linker. This is the AC linker. We call this link as AC linker. It joins subtubule A with subtubule C, right? So in this way, all peripheral microtubules are joined to each other. In this way, all peripheral microtubules are joined to each other by AC linker. The link is between subtubule A and subtubule C. A and C. A and C. This is C. This is A, C, right? C. So AC, 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 AC. That is why we call it as AC linker. At the center of this microtubule, there is a dense material protein thickening. This dense material protein thickening, which is present at the center of this centriole, this is known as central hub. This is known as central hub. As I told you, this is not a microtubule. The central hub is not a microtubule. It is formed of proteins. It is a protein thickening known as central hub. It is formed of proteins. It is not a microtubule, right? Then each subtubule A is joined to it by a dense material protein thickening known as radial spoke. Each subtubule A is joined to it by a dense material protein thickening known as radial spoke. These are the radial spokes. How many radial spokes will be there? There will be 9 radial spokes, right? Each peripheral microtubule is joined to central hub by a dense material thickening known as a radial spoke. This is a radial spoke. It is formed of protein. It is a protein strand. Just below each subtubule A, there is a proteinous mass present on the radial spoke. This proteinous mass which is present on the radial spoke, just below subtubule A, it is known as X body. On each radial spoke, there is a proteinous mass known as an X body. Just below the radial spoke, just below the subtubule A on radial spoke, there is a dense proteinous thickening known as X body. In between two adjacent X bodies, just below AC linker, There is another proteinous thickening. This another proteinous thickening, which is present between two X bodies, just below the AC linker. This proteinous thickening is known as Y body. So these are X bodies. This is X, this is X, this is X, X body, X body, X body, X body, X body, and X body, right? So X body is present on the radial spoke. In between two adjacent X bodies, just below the AC linker, there is another dense material thickening known as Y body. You can see in the diagram, this Y body, it is linked to two adjacent X bodies and the AC linker. This is one X body connecting to Y body. This is another X body connecting to Y body. This is a Y body. And this Y body is linked to AC linker. This is the connection between X bodies and the AC linker. X body, Y body, X body. This is the Y body. This is the Y body. You can see Y bodies and X bodies are interconnected, and then they are linked to AC linker. They are connected to AC linker. So this is a Y body here. This is a Y body here. This is a Y body here. Y body here. Y body here. Right? So present on the radial spoke, there are proteinous strands in the form of thickenings known as X bodies. Then between two adjacent X bodies, just below the AC linker, there is another proteinous thickening. This proteinous thickening which is present just below the AC linker, this is known as a Y body. Two X bodies are connected to Y body, and this Y body is connected to AC linker. This Y body is connected to AC linker. So in this way, a cartwheel-like structure is formed. In this way, a cartwheel-like structure is formed. This cartwheel-like structure, it is our centriole. It is our centriole. So this is the structure of centriole. This is the structure of centriole. So you can now see clearly, this centriole, it is only formed of 9 peripheral microtubules. At the center, there is no microtubule. There is just a proteinous mass known as central hub at the center. So there are only peripheral 9 microtubules. Each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. Each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. It is formed of 3 subtubules. Subtubule A, subtubule B, subtubule C. Subtubule A is formed of 13 protofilaments. Subtubule B is formed of 10 protofilaments. Subtubule C is formed of 10 protofilaments. So these subtubules together, they form a peripheral microtubule. This is one peripheral microtubule, another. So we say that each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. Each peripheral microtubule is a triplet. That means it is formed of 3 subtubules. Then subtubule A is connected with the subtubule C of the next microtubule. This is subtubule A, this is subtubule C. Subtubule A, subtubule C, A and C. They are interconnected. How they are interconnected? They are interconnected by protein strands known as AC linkers. They are interconnected by protein strands known as AC linkers. This is AC linker here, right? Then we see each peripheral microtubule is attached to central hub. The subtubule A of each peripheral microtubule is attached to central hub by a dense material strand, which is formed of protein. This dense material strand, it is known as radial spoke. This is one radial spoke, another radial spoke, another radial spoke, another. So how many radial spokes will be there? There will be 10 radial spokes. There are 10 radial spokes. So 9 radial spokes, not 10, only 9. There are peripheral 9 microtubules. So there are 9 radial spokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, right? So these 10 radial spokes, they connect these nine radial spokes. They connect these 9 peripheral microtubules with the central hub. These 9 radial spokes, they connect 9 peripheral microtubules with the central hub. Then just below the subtubule A, on the radial spoke, we find that there is a dense material, mass or thickening known as X body. So there are 9 X bodies on 9 radial spokes. Then between two adjacent X bodies, just below the AC linker, there is another dense material mass or thickening known as Y body. So there are 9 Y bodies. Each Y body is connected to two adjacent X bodies, and it is also linked with the AC linker. So in this way, this arrangement of microtubules along with the radial spokes and the linkers, it forms a cartwheel-like structure. And this cartwheel-like structure is our centriole. This is our centriole. You know, centrioles, they are also known as diplosomes. You might have heard centrioles are also known as diplosomes. Why centrioles are also known as diplosomes? Why centrioles are also known as diplosomes? Centrioles are also known as diplosomes. Diplo means two, because they are always present in the form of a pair. This is one centriole, this is another centriole. They are always in the form of a pair. They are always in the form of a pair. And they are lying perpendicular to each other. They are always lying perpendicular to each other. So this pair of centrioles, which always remains together, this is known as a diplosome because it is formed of two centrioles. So for this reason, we call centrioles also as diplosomes. So centrioles, they are always in the form of a pair. That is why we call them as diplosomes. And these diplosomes, they are surrounded by an amorphous material. They are surrounded by an amorphous material. This amorphous material which surrounds these diplosomes, this is known as pericentriolar mass. This is known as pericentriolar mass, right? So this pericentriolar mass plus centrioles. What do they together form? Centrioles, two centrioles plus pericentriolar mass. What do they together form? They together form centrosome. I hope you have understood now what is a centrosome and what are the centrioles. So centrioles are structures which are embedded in this pericentriolar mass. This pericentriolar mass, it is amorphous. It is having not a definite shape. It is a mass of proteinous material. It has some enzymes in it. So a proteinous mass without a definite shape is surrounding a pair of centrioles. So this proteinous mass, which is surrounding a pair of centrioles, we call it as pericentriolar mass, PCM, right? Embedded in this PCM, there is a pair of centrioles. So this pair of centrioles plus pericentriolar mass, it forms the centrosome, right? How many centrosomes are usually contained in a normal cell? In a normal non-dividing cell, there is just one centrosome. There is just one centrosome somewhere around the nucleus. But when the cell enters into meiosis or mitosis, at that time this centrosome replicates. So from a single centrosome, two centrosomes are formed. And then these two centrosomes, after replication, they migrate to two opposite poles of the cell to organize the spindle. So in a non-dividing cell, you may have just a single centrosome somewhere around the nucleus. When the cell starts division, either mitosis or meiosis, at that time these centrosomes, they replicate. From a single centrosome, two centrosomes are formed. And then they migrate to two opposite poles of the cell where they organize the spindle, right? So that is the function of centrosomes. So they are involved in the organization of spindle during mitosis and meiosis. in ciliated protozoans and in flagellated protozoans. These centrosomes, they replicate many times and they migrate just below the plasma membrane in ciliated protozoans and flagellated protozoans. Centrosomes replicate many times. After replication, they migrate to come to lie just below the plasma membrane. To come to lie just below the plasma membrane. What is their function? When they come to lie just below the plasma membrane, then they give rise to cilia and flagella. So then they are known as basal body. Then they are known as basal bodies. So we find basal bodies only in ciliated protozoans and flagella, right? Sorry, in flagellated protozoans. Basal bodies are found in ciliated protozoans and flagellated protozoans. So what are their basal bodies? Their basal bodies are actually the centrosomes, which have replicated many times and have migrated outwards towards the periphery of the cell to lie just below the plasma membrane, where from they form cilia and flagella, right? So these basal bodies, they are actually the centrosomes, which have migrated many times and have migrated towards the periphery of the cell to give rise to cilia and flagella, right? So this is a single centriole. This is a single centriole. In this single centriole, we find that just a minute. गर्मी से मेरा हाल बेहाल हो रहा है. This is a single centriole. It is surrounded by pericentriolar mass. There are usually two, but in this diagram I am showing only one. So this is surrounded by this pericentriolar mass. Both of the centrioles are lying in pericentriolar mass. But in this diagram I am showing only one. So this is the pericentriolar mass. In the pericentriolar mass adjacent to the subtubule C, there are dense proteinous strands. These dense proteinous strands, they are known as macules. They are known as macules. They are present in pericentriolar mass. They are not part of the centriole. These dense proteinous strands, proteinous thickenings, these dense proteinous associations, they are known as macules. They are lying adjacent to subtubule C. These are the macules. It is these macules which is thought to help the centrioles in its replication. So these are proteins. They may be acting as enzymes, right? So these macules, they help centrioles in replication. They help centrioles in replication. It is believed that these centrioles, they also show semi-conservative mode of replication. You might have studied DNA replication. We say DNA replication is a semi-conservative process. That means one parental strand is conserved. Then from one parental strand, a next new strand is formed. So from a single DNA molecule, two DNA molecules are formed. These are the parental strands. They separate from each other. Then on this strand, one new strand is formed. On this strand, another new strand is formed. So this will be the new DNA having one parental strand and one new strand. This will be another new DNA molecule having one parental strand and another new strand, right? So one of the parental strands is conserved. Similarly, it is thought that in the process of centriolar replication, there is semi-conservative mode of replication. That means when newly formed centrosome is newly formed, that contains one parental centriole and another newly formed centriole, right? So this replication of centrioles, it is assisted by macules. And in these macules, there are proteins which act as enzymes which help in the replication of these centrosomes, right? So that is all about the centrioles and the centriosomes. So the function of these centrosomes is to organize spindle during the process of cell division, and they also replicate many times and migrate towards the periphery of cell in ciliated protozoans and flagellated protozoans, where they give rise to cilia and flagella. And in sperm, mammalian sperm, it is distal centriole which gives rise to exoneme of the sperm tail. So that is the function of centriole. I think this is sufficient for today. Thank you.